Have you ever looked at the back of a salad dressing bottle and thought, what in the world is all this stuff? Words you can't pronounce, preservatives you've never heard of, and sugar hiding behind fancy names. Now, imagine pouring that over something as healthy as a fresh green salad. Sounds a bit backwards, doesn't it? I want to tell you something that could honestly change the way you eat every single day, and it's not complicated. In fact, it's delicious, healthy, empowering, and beautifully simple. It's about taking back control of what you put in your body, starting with your salad dressing. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you won't just know how to make your own dressings at home. You'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. Let me share something I learned working with older adults for decades. Many people don't realize how much their food habits are affecting their health, especially when they live alone. It's not about big, dramatic meals. Often, it's the little things, like the store-bought dressing on your salad, that sneak in loads of sodium, sugar, and chemicals that slowly wear your body down. I've seen it happen again and again. And I've seen the change when someone takes back that little bit of control. So let's break this down into something practical, real, and absolutely doable. Because once you try it, I promise, your taste buds and your body will thank you. First, let's talk about what actually goes into most bottled dressings. You'd think it's just oil, vinegar, and some herbs, right? But in reality, you'll often find a laundry list of ingredients like high-fructose corn syrup, xanthan gum, natural flavors, which, let's be honest, could mean just about anything, plus artificial coloring and preservatives meant to keep it sitting on a shelf for months or even years. That might make sense for a factory, but not for your kitchen. Here's the danger. These extra ingredients don't just taste off. They can actually mess with your digestion, raise your blood sugar, and even cause inflammation. For older adults, especially those managing conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, or arthritis, those hidden extras aren't harmless. They're quietly working against your health goals. Now let me tell you about Sandra. She's 72, lives by herself, and has always been proud of eating light meals, mostly salads and soups. But despite her efforts, her doctor kept warning her about rising blood sugar and joint pain. We took a closer look at her diet and found something surprising. She was using store-bought Light Ranch every day. Turned out it was loaded with sugar and hydrogenated oils. Once she switched to a simple homemade vinaigrette, just olive oil, lemon juice, mustard, and garlic, her inflammation went down, her energy went up, and she even said her salads tasted better than ever. That brings me to your first powerful tool, a basic vinaigrette. This is your foundation, and it's so much easier than you think. Start with about 1/3 cup of vinegar or citrus juice. Lemon, lime, apple cider vinegar, or red wine vinegar all work great. Then, add 1 teaspoon of mustard. You can use Dijon if you want that classic zing, or dry mustard powder if that's what you have. Next, crush a clove or 2 of garlic. Sprinkle in a little salt and black pepper. And finally, pour in about 1 cup of good olive oil. Shake it all up in a glass jar. That's it. No equipment needed. No fancy ingredients. Just real food. This basic blend can last in your fridge for up to 2 weeks. And here's a tip. If your olive oil solidifies when cold, don't worry. Just let the jar sit at room temperature for 10 minutes before you use it. Give it a little shake, and you're good to go. Now, if you're thinking, well, that's a bit plain, hang tight. Because this is just the beginning. Once you've got the basic recipe down, you can personalize it however you like. Let's say you love something a little sweet to balance out bitter greens like arugula. Add a teaspoon of honey or maple syrup to your mix. Prefer something tangy and bold? Try balsamic vinegar instead of lemon juice. Want a creamy texture without dairy? Blend in a spoonful of tahini or a mashed avocado. The possibilities are endless and completely under your control. I remember one gentleman, George, in his late 60s, who loved Caesar salads but wanted to avoid the heavy bottled versions. We made a version using Greek yogurt, lemon juice, garlic, a dash of anchovy paste, and Parmesan, all whisked together. He said it reminded him of the steakhouse dinners he used to enjoy with his wife. Only now it was healthier, lighter, and perfect for his solo lunches. There's something incredibly empowering about creating your own food. It gives you back a sense of choice. And when you're living alone, especially after losing a partner or transitioning into retirement, small daily rituals, like making your own salad dressing, can become anchors of comfort and care. And there's more to this than just taste or health. Making your own dressing can save you money, reduce waste, and even become a fun little experiment in the kitchen. Have fresh herbs? Chop them up and toss them in. Got leftover orange juice? Use it instead of vinegar for a citrusy twist. Don't be afraid to try things. The worst that can happen is you make a batch you don't love. But most of the time, you'll be surprised how good it tastes. Another common question I get is about equipment. Do you need a blender? A whisk? Anything fancy? Honestly, no. A simple jar with a tight lid will do. You can shake everything together, and the motion helps the oil and vinegar emulsify or blend into a smooth texture. Some people like to use a little handheld milk frother, and that's a nice touch if you have one, but it's not necessary. Now, let's pause for a second. I know that for some folks, cooking for one feels a bit lonely. It's easy to fall into the habit of just grabbing something pre-made, or even skipping meals altogether. But I want you to think of making your own dressing and building your own salad as a gift to yourself. A quiet moment where you get to choose what nourishes you, what flavors you crave, and what makes your body feel good. I once worked with a woman named Carol, a retired school librarian. She told me that after her husband passed, she lost interest in cooking. She lived on microwave meals and instant soups for a while. But one day, she tried growing a little pot of basil on her windowsill, and it reignited something. She started chopping vegetables again. She made her first lemon basil dressing from scratch. And just like that, meals became joyful again. Not because she was trying to impress anyone, but because it gave her a sense of connection to the seasons, to the memories, to herself. If you've ever felt like that, I want you to know it's okay. And it's never too late to reclaim the simple joys of the kitchen. Now, in the next part of this video, we'll dive deeper into creative flavor combinations, how to pair dressings with different types of salads, and even how to make creamy dressings without using mayonnaise or sour cream. We'll also talk about specific nutrients your body needs more of as you age, and how you can use dressings as a smart delivery system for those nutrients. But before we get to that, take a moment to reflect. What's one small thing you could try this week? Maybe it's chopping a garlic clove. Maybe it's swapping out your bottle of ranch for something you made with your own hands. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. If you're finding this helpful so far, I'd love for you to leave a comment. Maybe share your favorite homemade dressing idea, or tell us if you've ever tried making one from scratch. It helps others feel less alone. And while you're here, don't forget to like this video if it's given you a spark, and share it with someone who might need a gentle nudge back into their kitchen. Ready to explore more delicious ideas? Part 2 is just around the corner, and we're going to make it even more exciting. So now that you've got that basic vinaigrette down, and hopefully even tried shaking up a little jar of your own, let's make it a bit more exciting. Because here's the beautiful part. Salad dressings aren't just about flavor. They're little powerhouses. You can pack them with ingredients that help your body, especially as you age, feel stronger, lighter, more balanced. Let's start with olive oil. If you're using a good quality extra virgin olive oil as your base, you're already doing your heart a favor. Studies have shown time and again that the monounsaturated fats in olive oil can lower bad cholesterol and reduce inflammation. And when you combine that with vinegar or lemon juice, you're also helping your body absorb nutrients better, especially fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K. That means the carrots, spinach, and tomatoes in your salad actually do more good when paired with a dressing that contains real oil. But maybe olive oil isn't your favorite. That's okay. You can explore other healthy oils too. Walnut oil, for example, has a slightly nutty flavor and is rich in omega-3s, great for brain health and joint comfort. Avocado oil is another option. It has a mild taste, works well in both creamy and tangy dressings, and is stable even if you cook with it later. I worked with a woman named Janet. She was in her late 60s and recovering from a mild stroke. Her doctor recommended more omega-3s in her diet, but she didn't like fish. We started using walnut oil in her salad dressings, added some crushed garlic and red wine vinegar, and it became her go-to lunch companion. Not only did she feel like she was eating something special, but her follow-up tests 6 months later showed marked improvement in inflammation levels. Now, let's talk flavor combinations. One of the easiest ways to keep things interesting is by playing with acids. That means the tangy part of your dressing. Instead of just vinegar or lemon juice, try mixing in fresh orange juice for sweetness. Or go bold with pomegranate or cherry vinegar. You can even use a splash of pickle juice. Yes, really, especially if you like that salty tang. If you enjoy Mediterranean flavors, try this. Mix olive oil, lemon juice, a tiny spoon of Dijon mustard, and a big pinch of dried oregano. Add a bit of minced garlic and crumbled feta cheese, and you've got something that transforms even a plain cucumber salad into a trip to Greece. Prefer something a little spicy? Stir in a drop of sriracha or a pinch of cayenne pepper. Want a hint of sweetness? A teaspoon of honey or a squeeze of ripe mango can add depth to an otherwise basic mix. And here's where it gets really fun. Creamy dressings, without the heavy dairy. If you're someone who enjoys ranch, Caesar, or even Thousand Island, you can still enjoy those textures without using store-bought mayo or sour cream. Try using plain Greek yogurt. It adds creaminess, a little tang, and a boost of protein. Blend it with lemon juice, garlic, chopped herbs like dill or parsley, and a drizzle of olive oil. That's a creamy herb dressing that feels indulgent but is actually nourishing. Or use a spoon of tahini, that's sesame seed paste. It creates a rich, nutty texture and is perfect when mixed with lemon, garlic, and a bit of warm water to thin it out. And if you're someone managing digestive issues or lactose sensitivity, avocado can be your best friend. Mash half an avocado with lime juice, a little olive oil, chopped cilantro, and a sprinkle of cumin, and you've got a velvety green dressing that's full of potassium and fiber. Let me tell you about Martin, a retired firefighter who started eating more plant-based meals after a heart scare. He loved creamy dressings, but was trying to avoid dairy. We made him a cashew-based dressing, soaked cashews blended with lemon juice, a splash of apple cider vinegar, garlic, and a bit of mustard. It turned out so good, he started gifting little jars of it to his neighbors. And here's something important. Your dressing doesn't just have to go on salads. You can drizzle it over roasted vegetables, spoon it onto baked fish, or even use it as a dip for whole grain crackers. Think of it as a flavor bridge, a way to connect simple foods with bold, balanced taste. If chopping garlic or whisking by hand feels like a hassle, remember, it's okay to keep it simple. One of my favorite tips is to make a bigger batch of dressing once a week and store it in a glass jar in the fridge. Most vinaigrettes will last up to 2 weeks. Just remember to shake it well before each use, especially if the oil separates or thickens. Let's talk safety for a moment too, something I always emphasize when working with older adults who may be cooking solo. Always make sure your jar is clean and dry before you store dressing in it. If you use fresh herbs, keep an eye on the texture and smell after the first week. If it smells off, it's best to make a fresh batch. But for the most part, if you're using oil, vinegar, mustard, and dried spices, you'll have a stable little bottle of flavor ready whenever you need it. Now, I know that not every day feels like a cooking day. Some days we're tired. Some days we're sad. Some days we just want someone else to take care of us. That's human. But food, even a simple dressing, can be one way we remind ourselves that we matter, that our health is worth a few minutes of effort, that even when no one else is watching, we still deserve something made with care. There's a quiet dignity in that, and I think that's something worth holding on to. So whether you're mixing oil and vinegar in a little jar, or blending yogurt with herbs, or inventing your own wild combination with ginger and pineapple juice, what matters is that you are choosing. You're not at the mercy of whatever the supermarket puts in a bottle. You get to say what goes into your food. That kind of empowerment doesn't just improve your health, it nourishes your spirit. If you've been watching this and thinking, maybe I'll try that tomorrow, I say, yes, do. Just try it once. Even if it's not perfect. Even if you make a mess. Even if you're just mixing lemon juice and olive oil with a fork in a mug, that's a win. And if you already have a favorite homemade dressing, maybe one your partner used to make, or a recipe you once clipped from a magazine, share it in the comments. You never know who might read it and feel inspired to try something new. Cooking, after all, isn't just about feeding our bodies. It's about connection. It's about memory. It's about reminding ourselves that we're still here, still choosing, still creating, still tasting life. So here's your gentle nudge. Next time you're in the kitchen, take 5 minutes to make something with your own hands. It might be a vinaigrette. It might be a creamy dressing. It might be something totally your own. If this video has helped you feel even a little more inspired, I'd love it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you know someone, a neighbor, a sibling, a friend, who could use a gentle push back into the kitchen, share this with them too. Let's build a little community here, one dressing at a time. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We've got more simple, nourishing tips coming. all designed with your life in mind. Until next time, take care of yourself. You're worth it.